Hey guys, my name is David DeMuzio, and today I'm interviewing one of my favorite young producers. His name is Xergio Ramos, and he produced the EP Signature, which is topping the charts worldwide right now for the singer Morissette. Sergio, what are your favorite 5 non-instrument plugins?
Number one has to be FabFilter Q3 because, of course, that should be in every producer's toolkit, especially at this point. There's just way too many features that are way too good, really. And I'm a person who's very into workflow, and if something takes too many clicks, it drives me crazy. So FabFilter Q3 definitely is one. Second one would probably be Yuhi Satin. For those who are unfamiliar with Yuhi Satin, it is a tape emulation plugin, tape saturation plugin. Love putting that on drums, on my master bus. It's one of those, it glues everything together, but it actually legitimately just makes everything just more colorful, and you can really dive deep into like the azimuth and the bias controls of this fictional tape plugin or that you have in front of you. UAD 1176. There you go. You were actually gonna
Great choice.
ask me. Yeah, the UAD 1176, especially the Rev A model, which is the silver face one. Yeah, it's the one with the blue stripe. Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah.
The reason why is because, of course, got to have an 1176 somewhere. It's just too good of a compressor. It's a classic for a reason. But that one in particular, it's bright. It has this nice bright quality to it, and also I like the way how it breaks up. I like the saturation that it adds. Number 4 would have to be FabFilter Timeless 3, their latest update, which is a delay plugin. And in close second place, or equally, is Valhalla Delay. I am a freak when it comes to tape plugins. I love anything tape, especially tape delays. Like the amount of tape delay pedals that I have are too many. And I hate to say it, I have a couple more on the way. So yeah, those two definitely sound awesome. They sound so good on things that are not even just guitar. I've used them for a lot of the vocal work as well. Ooh, favorite reverb. This one's kind of weird because like I have different reverbs for different things. So I think I'll just spit out a couple of my favorite ones that, have different applications. Valhalla Vintage Verb, gotta have that one. That's a good all-purpose one. A good plate one that I use a lot, that you hear all over the Signature EP and almost anything else that I produce, is going to be the Arturia Rev Spring. No, Arturia Rev Plate. Yeah, the Rev Plate.
Yes.
It's that one for sure. I use that one a lot. Anytime you hear like a bigger vocal reverb, it's that one. It's actually
and
that
which
one.
one do you usually pick? Because that one has 3 different reverb settings, right?
Yes.
It's got like 3 different kinds of plate reverbs, just out of curiosity.
I think I just stick it on the preset that's like EMT large, and then I make sure that the wetness, the mix is at 100% because I use it as a send.
So what is it about the Pro Q3 that you love so much?
Well, I use it a lot for a variety of different things, really. So sometimes I get nerdy and I try and like copy guitar tones, and the match EQ really does help with that. I've since we're talking plugins, I'm a huge user of Line 6 Helix stuff, and because a lot of people love the Neural DSP stuff, sometimes I'll go in with like a Neural DSP demo and I'll try and like A/B the two, and I'll use like the match EQ function to see like, okay, what did they change in this fictional 5150 that they're not calling a 5150, compare it, and then try and do that. So there's that one.
Extreme nerdiness.
Extreme nerdiness. So there's that one. What else do I use it for? Just the way how the interface is clean. I love the fact that the interface is clean. and how a lot of it just kind of makes sense. Like if you're boosting a band or something, using the scroll wheel to change the Q factor is really, really helpful. And the fact that you can immediately turn any one of the bands into a dynamic EQ, so good.
I stopped using EQs that I visually can see. Actually, so that's the only thing I don't like about Pro Q3. There might be a way that you can turn that off, actually, but I used to have Pro Q3 and I stopped using it. I actually sold it to a guy, and that was because I felt like I EQ'd with my eyes too much. Like all of those digital EQs that you can physically see what you're doing. I felt like I was just trying to make nice looking shapes instead of like really EQing. So now I use this. Actually, you can get it for free. It's Slick EQ GE, and it's like only 3 or 4 bands, but I love the fact that I can't see it. So I'm just listening to like what I'm doing.
When I do EQing, I do EQing in 2 separate steps, which is do the surgical one, which is, find resonances. Like especially drum resonances piss me off. Like if there's a snare drum that rings way too much, I'm like, So there's that one. Toms definitely need a lot of work because you have to balance resonance with like annoyances. I love getting into the granularity of those when especially you're mixing something very, very dense, which in the case of, the Morissette EP, there's a lot of layers. Like Trophy alone had half of it was all of her vocals. If you can't get an EQ that can notch out that like 1.8K that is just present either in her throat or in the mic or the preamp that they've used, then it compounds and then it turns into a mess. So
Makes sense.
I use that for cleaning, and then I'll use something like the API stuff or SSL stuff for more tone shaping.
Okay, so you do use other EQs for tone shaping kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Because that's the only thing that I will use a digital EQ if I'm trying to notch out certain frequencies, because it just works so perfectly for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Xergio, what are the biggest lessons that you've learned about producing or creating that you feel would be really valuable to other young producers?
Learn how to listen. And this is a major thing too, is that so there's actually 2 things. Learn how to listen and also twist every knob, try every parameter and anything and everything that you can. And be like, okay, what does this button do? Be like Dexter's sister Dee Dee. Just, push everything and you might be surprised. Like, I know Skrillex there's one knob in the Ableton reverb plugin that Skrillex used to use for his drops, because when you would automate it, it would have like this weird granularity to it. And you never would have realized that was there unless you went, what does this do? So there's that one. And the whole listening thing, I am a firm believer in, embodying sounds first. Like you have to get it in your ear and you have to actively listen. You can't just be like, doing your homework and then listening. If you really want to dive deep, you have to actively listen. I was watching this masterclass with Jacob Collier when he went to my school, and he said that for a long time what he did was he Googled like the top 100 albums ranked by Forbes or Rolling Stone or whatever, and he would go to his uni, 1 hour there and 1 hour on the way back, and he would listen intently, actively listen to one album per trip. And so that really expanded his knowledge. And if you look at Jacob Collier, he's a freak, he's a monster. He knows exactly what he's talking about. And there's a difference too with either listening and then also getting the feel for something, and that's only something that you can do if you can pick up on the tiny details. So one way how you can force yourself to do this is that you can try to transcribe or reverse engineer people's productions. I remember when I was like producing dubstep and EDM, there's this one song by Knife Party, I think. Yeah, but what I used to do was I used to have whatever samples that I had at the time, and I would like force them to sound like the song, and just be as creative. Like I would put distortion plugins on kick drums. I would put, I don't know, like slapback reverbs on, and then distort those, and then see what would happen. Just to try and get it to sound exactly like the song. And then you get to take a look back and be like, so that's how they did that. So that's how they got that sound. Maybe that's how they did this. And you realize all of these things that you never would have found out or would take you too many hours of looking up on YouTube.
Yeah, you're the second producer who's super talented and makes great music that I've heard say this. The other one is one of my favorites, Eric Valentine. Do you know Eric Valentine? He did the first Third Eye Blind album and All
I'm not
Star by
familiar,
Smash Mouth.
unfortunately. Oh, All Star. Awesome.
Yeah, he did all the Smash Mouth stuff, and he's an incredibly talented guy. And he said that he would spend one day per week just trying to recreate the sounds of his favorite album. So he would go, play a Led Zeppelin album and go, I'm going to try and get this exact same Jimmy Page guitar tone. So it's really interesting that both of you guys are really like self-taught kind of people who made it there in terms of what you're able to do and did kind of the same thing. I think that's really smart.
Oh, thank you.
So what is your favorite guitar effect and why?
I would have to say tape delay. Mostly. There's just something about a tape delay where it just like creates this nice pillow of sound. If you listen to Eric Johnson, for example, it's like this perfect pillow of sound where you can hear the delay, but it's not interfering with the tone. And also, what I love about a delay versus a reverb is that you can get a delay to sound like a reverb. You can't get a reverb to sound like a delay if you tried. There's more use for a delay pedal versus a reverb pedal in my world, or just in my experience.
And next, we're going to be getting into, in the following interview, some of the things that you did very specifically for the signature EP currently topping worldwide charts and some of your favorite production techniques from that. So we'll see you guys soon.
See ya.